Plain error. Julie Chrisley's sentencing mistake exposed in legal filing. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. The world of reality television and courtroom drama has collided once again as new revelations surrounding Julie Chrisley's sentencing have come to light. The Chrisley family, already a staple of both entertainment headlines and legal scrutiny, is now facing another turning point in their long and complicated legal saga. A newly surfaced legal filing points to what has been described as a plain error in Julie Chrisley's sentencing, opening the door for renewed discussions about justice, fairness, and the intricacies of the legal system. For fans of Chrisley Knows Best, and those who have followed Todd and Julie Chrisley's turbulent journey through the courts, this latest twist could reshape the narrative of their punishment and their fight for freedom. The story of Julie Chrisley's sentencing error is not merely a technicality, but a window into the complexity of federal sentencing guidelines. When high-profile defendants like the Chrisleys are in the spotlight, every detail of courtroom procedure, judicial discretion, and statutory interpretation matters. What makes this latest revelation so significant is the argument that her punishment may have been influenced by a mistake that should not have been overlooked in the first place. Legal experts and commentators have latched onto the phrase plain error because it suggests that the issue is not buried in obscurity or subject to heavy debate, but rather is an obvious miscalculation with profound consequences for the defendant's fate. Julie Chrisley, known for her warm Southern charm, resilience, and her steady role as the matriarch of the Chrisley household on reality television, has been living under the cloud of her conviction for financial crimes alongside her husband, Todd. Their trial and eventual sentencing were already filled with drama, tears, and a barrage of public opinion. Yet beneath the spectacle lies the rigid machinery of the justice system, where every misstep can result in years of a person's life being spent behind bars. It is this delicate balance of law and fairness that is now being reevaluated in light of the newly exposed mistake. At the heart of this legal development is a claim that the district court improperly applied sentencing enhancements to Julie Chrisley, thereby inflating her prison term beyond what should have been imposed. In federal sentencing, enhancements can drastically alter outcomes, sometimes adding years to a sentence. They are designed to reflect aggravating factors, such as the role of the defendant in the offense or the scale of the crime. However, when these enhancements are misapplied, it constitutes a critical error that appellate courts cannot ignore. For Julie Chrisley, the argument is that her role in a conspiracy was less direct and significant than the sentencing guidelines suggested, and that the enhancements may have unfairly portrayed her as more culpable than the evidence demonstrated. The term plain error carries substantial legal weight. In appellate review, not every mistake can result in reversal or resentencing. Courts require that an error be obvious, affect substantial rights, and seriously impact the fairness or integrity of judicial proceedings before it warrants correction. In Julie Chrisley's case, the claim that her sentence was tainted by such an error presents a rare and potentially game-changing opportunity. If the appeals court agrees, she could see her sentence reduced or even face a complete resentencing, reshaping her future in dramatic fashion. For the Chrisley family, this development adds yet another layer of uncertainty to their already difficult reality. Todd and Julie, once celebrated for their glitzy lifestyle and their comedic banter on reality television, have instead become central figures in a cautionary tale about wealth, ambition, and accountability. Their children have been left grappling with the emotional toll of their parents' absence, while simultaneously stepping into the spotlight to defend them and keep the family story alive. Savannah Chrisley, in particular, has taken on the role of advocate and spokesperson, using her platform to highlight what she perceives as injustices in the legal system and to rally support in Julie Chrisley's case adds fuel to Savannah's ongoing campaign. She has repeatedly argued that her mother has been treated unfairly and that her punishment does not fit the role she played in the alleged crimes. Now, with a legal filing backing the claim of error, Savannah's words carry more weight. Supporters of the Chrisley family see this as validation of their long-standing belief that Julie, a woman who has spent much of her life as a devoted wife and mother, should not have been painted as a mastermind deserving of such severe punishment. Critics, however, remain skeptical, pointing out that the convictions were the result of extensive evidence and due process, and that any attempt to minimize their culpability risks ignoring the harm caused by their actions. What makes this legal revelation resonate beyond the Chrisley case is the broader conversation it sparks about sentencing fairness in America. High-profile cases like this often expose systemic flaws and provoke public debate about whether punishments are proportionate to crimes. Advocates for reform argue that the federal sentencing system is overly rigid, sometimes stacking enhancements in ways that produce unjustly harsh outcomes. The Chrisley case, with its high visibility and emotionally charged fan base, could become a flashpoint for larger discussions about how justice is applied and how errors are corrected. The timing of this development is also critical. Appeals are lengthy, drawn-out processes that test the endurance of defendants and their families. For Julie Chrisley, every day spent in prison is a day away from her children and grandchildren. A day where her absence is keenly felt by those who once saw her as the heart of their home. A potential resentencing offers a glimmer of hope, but it also prolongs the uncertainty. While some family members may see it as a lifeline, others may struggle with the emotional roller coaster of rising and falling expectations as the courts deliberate. The Chrisleys' reality show painted them as a family with everything: wealth, style, humor, and unshakable bonds. But behind the carefully curated images were financial struggles, risky decisions, and the allure of living beyond their means. The unraveling of their public image has been painful, both for them and for their fans, who once admired their seemingly perfect life. The legal battles that followed revealed a stark contrast between the scripted comedy of television and the unforgiving seriousness of federal prosecution. Now, with the revelation of a potential sentencing mistake, the family saga takes another dramatic turn that mirrors the unpredictability of the show that made them famous. For legal analysts, the case presents a fascinating study in how appellate courts handle claims of error. Will the court agree that the sentencing mistake rises to the level of plain error requiring correction? Or will it conclude that, despite the error, the outcome does not warrant a reduction in punishment? The answer could set precedent for similar cases, shaping how sentencing errors are treated in future appeals. It also underscores the importance of precise legal work at every stage of a trial, as even small miscalculations can reverberate through years of a defendant's life. Public reaction to this revelation has been divided. Some fans have flooded social media with messages of support for Julie Chrisley, praising her resilience and praying for her early release. Others remain critical, insisting that justice must be served and that the Chrisleys should not receive special treatment simply because of their fame. This polarization reflects the broader societal debate about celebrity influence in the justice system, where some argue that high-profile defendants are either unfairly targeted or unfairly privileged depending on the circumstances. Regardless of where one stands on the issue, there is no denying that the revelation of a sentencing mistake in Julie Chrisley's case adds a compelling chapter to an already dramatic story. It is a reminder that the justice system, while striving for fairness, is not infallible. Errors happen, and when they do, they can profoundly alter lives. For Julie, it means the possibility of an earlier return to her family. For Todd, who remains in prison serving his own sentence, it could be a source of hope that his wife may one day be free sooner than expected. For their children, it offers a glimmer of relief in what has been a painful and uncertain journey. The unfolding of this legal twist will be watched closely, not only by fans of the Chrisleys, but also by legal observers, reform advocates, and critics alike. Whether the court ultimately grants relief or upholds the original sentence, the case has already succeeded in sparking vital conversations about sentencing fairness. Now rests in the hands of appellate judges, who must weigh the evidence, the law, and the undeniable human impact of their decision. As the Chrisley family continues to navigate this storm, they remain a symbol of both the glamour and the fragility of fame. Their reality television legacy may forever be intertwined with their legal troubles. But this new chapter reminds the world that behind every headline and every courtroom battle are real people whose lives hang in the balance. For Julie Chrisley, the revelation of a plain error in her sentencing may be the most important twist yet, one that could redefine her story from one of punishment to one of redemption. It has been nearly 3 years since the Chrisley Knows Best stars Julie Chrisley and Todd Chrisley were convicted of tax and wire fraud. Since then, the Chrisley family, led by Savannah Chrisley, has submitted appeals with little success, but a win for Julie. However, despite insufficient evidence of how much role she had in the crime, Julie's sentence was upheld. However, prosecutors are now saying that the judge has made a mistake, according to VileUSB TV. On February 20, the prosecution filed a brief that stated that the judge had made a mistake by adding 2 years to Julie's supervised release. The filing has described the added years to Julie's supervised release as a plain error, as the added years had not been objected to during Julie's resentencing. The brief also requests that the mistake should be amended. The 5-year term of supervised release on counts 7 and 12 is plain error because it exceeds the maximum term authorized by statute. Prosecutors wrote in the filing, "In such situations, this court vacates the district court's judgment only with respect to the supervised release term and remands with instructions to correct that issue." Julie Chrisley is still expected to serve the full 84 months. In the filing, prosecutors stated that they had missed the mistake at the time of Julie's resentencing hearing. Therefore, prosecutors are asking the appeals court to send the case back to the district court to resentence Julie to the same terms, but with 5 years of supervised release on count 7 for wire fraud and count 12 for obstruction of justice. However, as the prosecutors stated there had been a mistake in adding 2 more years of supervised release, Julie is still expected to serve her full sentence of 7 years. Whether she will have to serve her full sentence is still unknown. This is because the Chrisley family is seeking a pardon from President Trump, as Savannah has revealed that she is going through the proper channels. It is unknown when the outcome of the appeal for clemency will be reported, but the appeal process is currently ongoing. The legal fight continues for the Chrisley family. Although Julie will still need to serve her full sentence, the prosecutors admitting that the judge has made a mistake is still a small win for the Chrisley family. However, Todd has not had as much luck as Julie, as he is still expected to serve over a decade in prison. There have been several reports of Todd's struggles in prison, which include getting fired from his chapel job, spending the holidays in prison, and living in poor conditions. In late 2024, Savannah revealed that Todd's prison is closing down, though she still wants to take action against FPC Pensacola for its corruption. Savannah has recently appeared at the 2025 Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, as a senior fellow for the Nolan Center for Criminal Justice. She has also attended lunch at the White House, where she likely discussed her parents and her hopes of getting a pardon. Savannah took to Instagram to declare that she will never stop fighting for reform and her parents in a new post. To stand among those fighting for real reform and freedom, to be a voice in this movement, reminds me why I refuse to stop speaking out, she said. The fight for justice is far from over. I will never stop fighting for my parents, she added. I will never stop fighting for the millions of others crushed by the Department of Injustice. We will not be silenced. Chrisley Knows Best can be streamed on Peacock. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.